Hello again. The political atmosphere has started taking shape ahead of the 2024 general elections, as all parties are racing ahead of time to conclude their reorganization process. While the major political players, NDC and MPP, are still on the hunt for running mates, smaller parties are still preparing to elect their national executives and flag bearers. A key participant in this electoral race is the All People's Congress, APC, which is entering the competition for the third time. Now, joining me in the studio is Hassan Ayariga, who is the leader and founder of APC, for a conversation on the party's preparedness as they head to Congress later this week. Mr. Ayariga, good to have you in the studio.
Hi, Kenneth. How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has, definitely.
Yes.
Let's start from the political atmosphere. For the past 7.5 years, we've seen the New Patriotic Party take the worms of affairs. How has it been?
To be very honest, one would say that it has been a difficult period for Ghanaians living in Ghana under the leadership of the MPP. And we all know what is happening, even though economic hardship is hard and they are blaming COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war. But overall, there are certain things that we need to find out how it was being managed. The debt stock of 650 billion, the depreciation of the cedi, per capita income, the inflation, Ghanaians living under hard conditions,
Right.
Prices of goods and services increasing astronomically, and the suffering of many, many Ghanaians. So these are the situations we find ourselves. And we keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and we have nothing to show. So for me, the problem has to do with the management of the economy, which I think that is not being managed well. I think Ghanaians have been taken for granted from NDC era, MPP era till date.
Right.
We are not seeing any future for Ghana. So what I see is that Ghana is lost.
Oh, is it?
Yes, Ghana is lost, and we need to define Ghana and find Ghana again.
I want to find out from you, if you were president today, during this era, what would you have done differently?
I think that I would have tried to increase productivity, manufacturing and industrialization, because that has been the drive for every economy. An economy to be able to stand on its feet must definitely have a production hub, so that you don't import more than you export. You need to export more than you import. And that will be able to stabilize your currency and give you an opportunity to grow your economy. And over the years, borrowing is not an option. For Ghanaians, borrowing is the last resort and the first resort. For me as president, borrowing will be the last option. I would have locked down Ghana, not because of COVID, it would have been an economic lockdown, where we now begin to produce what we consume and consume what we produce and build the status quo. Right now, you see, we're talking about graduate unemployment, job, unemployment. We would have done something different. We changed the curricula of education to make our students and graduates more creative and innovative than being avoidable graduates. So there are a lot that we could have done.
And I want to find out from you, could you share with us APC's assessment of the current political climate in the lead up to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections?
Presidential and parliamentary elections. For me, I think that this year is going to be a very tough year, because clearly we all admit, even the ruling government has admitted that they have failed.
Have they admitted?
Oh yes. I mean, you listen to the president himself, sooner, his address, he said, blame me for the difficulties we are in. And secondly, we will rise again. What it means that we are down, we are completely down. That is an admission that we have failed. He doesn't need to tell you that, look, we have failed, for you to understand. Once he said, blame me and don't blame my running mate. And the running mate also comes out to say, look, I was a mate, not a running mate, but a driver's mate. And then I was just the economic advisor. But you don't advise your president on economic issues, and he failed, and then you said that you were not part of the mess. Then what kind of advice were you giving your president as an economic management team? That means that you failed in even advising the president. So clearly, both the president and his vice have admitted that we are in crisis and the economy is down. So we don't need a soothsayer to come and tell us that the president said the economy is down.
Right. I can see you all clad in your party T-shirt
Yeah,
and
the
everything
APC.
from top to down. Let's talk about the APC.
Yeah.
As leader and founder of the party, what message do you have to electorates headed into your third Congress and then subsequent elections as well?
Yeah, I think that over the years, right from 2012, when I went into the political arena, as a young man at age 39, 40, within that period till now, I've learned a lot. And I think I'm the right person to lead this country. And I'm calling on Ghanaians listening here and abroad, and our party members, that this is the right time to make a change. And that a change is a key to a new life. But when we keep recycling the NDC and MPP, then we don't need a change, and then we'll be where we are. Ayariga brings on the table a lot of economic, policies that will transform our Ghana and make an independent economy that will not have to borrow or beg. We should stop begging as a nation, stop borrowing as a nation. So I was going into 2024 election. I'm calling on Ghanaians, those who think, many Ghanaians believe that where we are, there's no future anymore. But there's hope with Hassan Ayariga. There's hope with the APC. There's hope with a new leadership. We cannot continue to recycle and believe that we have hope. But once we make a change, definitely there'll be a new life.
Right.
So for me, going to the 2024 elections, I think that Ghanaians should reconsider their decision not to stay home and say they won't go out and vote. Because I've spoken to a lot of Ghanaians, and their views are that they are not going to vote. They are not interested in anything called democracy at all. And I say, once you do that, you are part of the mess. You're part of contributing to the mess, because you allow certain leaders who cannot manage our economy to get access and to become our leaders. So forcefully, you have allowed them to become the leader you don't want to. So in order not to allow them to be the leader you don't want to, get out of your comfort zone, go to the polls and vote against them, and vote for Hassan Ayariga. And the 2024 will be a different game altogether.
Let's talk about some of the activities. We'll come to your relations with the Electoral Commission, but let's talk about, let's start with your relations with the Electoral Commission. We understand that there were attempts to disqualify you sometime. What's your relations with the Electoral Commission now?
I always have the same relationship with the Electoral Commission.
Is it a good one?
Following their rules, abiding by their regulations and their rules, and being a good citizen and a law-abiding citizen. It's just that in 2016, we had a very bad electoral commissioner who did not play by the rules and play by her own perception and emotions. And that was an anarchy for war, which we did not allow it to happen.
Okay.
We agreed it to go, because if you go to a program in London and then you say that they are going to be losers, and definitely including Hassan Ayariga, even before the game, and then you disqualify Hassan Ayariga, automatically you prepared yourself that Hassan Ayariga was not going to be part of my game. So as a referee, you don't make those decisions. You allow the situation to do that. But you have already disqualified Hassan Ayariga even before he picked his form. So you can sit down and say there are going to be many losers, and definitely you single out Hassan Ayariga and add to it. I don't think it's the game. So right now we have Charlotte, Madame Jean Mensah, and I think she's played so well in making sure that all political parties abide by the rules. You saw that she disqualified 17 political parties last year. And then this year, I even called her last week, and I was of the view that for me, there's a challenge here.
Okay.
And the challenge is that you and your commission are on the political parties, Act 2575, about political parties regulations. And then you say all political parties must have offices, 1/3 of the district offices, before their candidates, their presidential candidate will be qualified to become a presidential candidate. Now let's look at the other side. You also have on this side, independent presidential candidate who now comes without an office, without any movement, without an organization, and they are allowed to just walk in and become presidential candidate. There's something wrong with our laws.
Right.
And I think that we need to look at this very well. Because if an independent candidate can easily become a presidential candidate, and a political party must now go through a lot of difficulties in becoming a presidential candidate, it doesn't make sense. So we should also find a way of saying that all independent candidates must also have 2/3 of offices. Okay. Because we are running the same position, for the same position. You cannot put rules for me and then for my counterpart, you say no rules.
But Mr. Hassan Ayariga, to be fair to them, an independent candidate is way different from a party. For example, a party runs all the time. Independent candidates, they appear during election periods and then you don't see them again. So why should they be treated the same way?
So that is why they should not even be given soft hand gloves, because they have no structures, but they are allowed to just become a candidate. It shouldn't be that way. The rule must apply to every person who is running for president. It shouldn't have, because you want to be independent candidate, then everybody will stop organizing a party and become an independent presidential candidate. It's easy. That's why this year round, you're going to have a lot of independent candidates. You know why? It's the easiest way to become, I'm a movement. Right. I'm a leader of a movement. I'm a leader of a force. So it's easy for me to walk and now be raising my hands and calling myself an independent candidate. And the media gives you a lot of coverage. The we who runs with the proper structures of 275 offices, with party executives in constituencies, polling stations, and regional level, we are then not given coverage. Because we have to become a candidate before we are given coverage. But now, all the independent candidates in Ghana have been given coverage. The media